Today on the show, I'm going to be answering the question, who are the Batman family? So this is just a quick disclaimer before I get started. I have previously made a What Are the Batman Family video, and in that video I kind of go over the creation of the Batman family, kind of why it was created back in the 1950s, some people sort of accusing DC of things that people didn't like. It's kind of an interesting story and I really wanted to make that video before I made this video. So the core of the Batman family, there is Batman, obviously, and we all know his origin story. He was Bruce Wayne, he was a child when his parents were murdered in front of him, so he decided to become Batman later on in his life. He traveled all around the world, getting training from the world's leading martial art experts and technology experts, and he became Batman, the world's greatest detective and vigilante. So the initial creation of the Bat family arguably happened when John and Mary Grayson were murdered and Bruce Wayne took in Dick Grayson as his ward. Bruce Wayne trained up Dick Grayson to be the ultimate sidekick, and that's when Robin came into the scene. Now here's where things begin to get complicated. So there was a Golden Age Batman and Robin and a Silver Age Batman and Robin. So in the Golden Age, Batman and Robin existed during World War II. They actually helped fight in World War II. In the Silver Age, they didn't start crime fighting till after World War II, but the histories are the exact same other than that aspect. And in the Silver Age of comics, Batman and Robin had the extended Bat family. In the Golden Age, we weren't exactly sure if they had the extended Bat family until the 1980s when we revisited the Golden Age universe, also known as Earth 2. Next, we're quickly going to touch on Batman's oldest ally, Commissioner Jim Gordon. So Jim Gordon first appeared in 1939, the same year Batman first appeared. What's very, very interesting about this character is that while he's only ever once been directly considered part of the Batman family, which is back when the Batman family had an actual family structure, he is such an important part of the Batman mythos that you can't not talk about him when talking about anything to do with Batman. So back in the Golden Age of comics, he was Gotham City's police commissioner, and Batman would work with him to sort of save the day quite frequently. This remained the same in the Silver Age until Jim Gordon's death during the 70s, and he would be revived in 1985 during Crisis on Infinite Earths, where the past was largely rewritten. So the first character created for the actual Bat family, the Bat family structure, was actually Batwoman, Kathy Kane, first appearing in the 1950s. I did a history video on Kathy Kane quite recently, so if you want more knowledge about her history as a whole, I would definitely recommend watching that. But she was the original Batwoman, and basically how her story goes was that she saw Batman on the news, she fell head over heels in love with him, and decided she was going to go after him, so she became Batwoman. Along with Batwoman came Batgirl, who was going to be the love interest for Robin. The original Batgirl was called Betty Kane, and she was Kathy Kane's niece. We don't exactly know if she was Batgirl in the current continuity though. Like, Kathy Kane was definitely Batwoman in the current continuity, and that means Betty Kane had to have been around, but we're not entirely sure when, because she is in the current continuity. She's the current Batwoman's cousin, which is really, really interesting to see how everything's linked together. The next character that was introduced to the Bat family was Alfred Pennyworth. Now there had already been a Alfred during the Golden Age of comics, but this was not the same Alfred as Alfred Pennyworth. Then finally, we have two characters that there isn't much to say about, but you've got to talk about them. First off, there was Bat-Mite. He was an imp that was a great fan of Batman from another dimension. He had infinite power and he used it to cause trouble for the Bat family. He was essentially the toddler of the Bat family in terms of his placement in the family structure. He was kind of an interesting character, and he has his own limited series that's running at the moment. And then you had Ace the Bat Hound. It was a German Shepherd that Batman and Robin found on one of their adventures. There's not much else to say. So these characters create the only official Bat family in history. In the sense they were created to have a family structure and a family formula. and this proved to be very, very popular back in the 1950s. However, obviously as time progressed, things had to change, and obviously some of these characters proved not to be too popular, like Betty Kane, the Batgirl back then. Most people don't even know she existed, which is why most people think that Barbara Gordon is actually the first Batgirl, because they don't even know about Betty Kane. Like I said, there have been so many members of the Bat family over the years that I cannot possibly name every single one of them in this video, but I am going to name a few. First off, there's Selina Kyle, who originally started out as a villain, but as time progressed and the years went on, she kind of got converted from a villain to an anti-hero. She frequently worked with Batman to save Gotham because she had to save herself. Next, there was Jason Todd. He was the second Robin. He was actually Robin for a really, really short period of time, and he honestly didn't do too well as Robin, and most people really didn't like his character until he came back many years later and became Red Hood. It wasn't actually until the New 52 that he found his current popularity, which is really, really interesting because a lot of people tell me, oh, Jason Todd's my favorite Robin, and I'm like, no, he's not. You've probably never read a book where he's been Robin in the old continuity, have you? And they're like, no, and I'm like, right, so he's your favorite Red Hood, but he's not your favorite Robin. Next up, there is my favorite character. He is largely considered the best Robin, Tim Drake. So Tim Drake was the first Robin to have his own Robin series. This series went on for nearly 20 years, which is an insane amount of time. And the reason why he's considered the best Robin was the time he became Robin was actually a time when DC and Marvel kind of realized, hey, we can do big things with comics and we can make events and crossovers and we don't have to worry about the repercussions. So because of that, his storytelling was way more in-depth and advanced than any of the other Robins. He's had way more events than even Damian Wayne because a lot of comic book writers are too scared to go over the edge like they did in the 90s. Might as well mention the other two Robins. There is Stephanie Brown, who is also known as Spoiler, also known as Batgirl. She is a very, very interesting character. I really, really like her. At one point, she was actually pregnant and had to give up her baby for adoption because she was only a teenager and couldn't raise the baby herself. We don't know whatever happened to her baby. And then there's Damian Wayne, who is actually the son of Bruce Wayne. There is Jean-Paul Valley, also known as Azrael, also known as Batman for a short period of time. That was a really interesting story. The list just goes on and on and on, and I've probably cut out a few characters that I've mentioned right now because I've honestly been standing here for 20 minutes just listing Batman family characters. So obviously, the Bat family is huge, and they're amazing, and I love every single one of them. It's super effective! Okay guys, that is it for today. So who is your favorite member of the Bat family? Please let me in the comments down below. And also don't forget to thumbs up and subscribe if you want to see more history videos. And also don't forget to like me on Facebook, follow me on Twitter, support the show by checking out my Patreon so I can make bigger and better and more history videos. And also don't forget to subscribe to my gaming channel, my vlogging channel, and follow me on Twitch. My name is Faust, this has been Exploring Comics, and it is super effective.